Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Average Joe Hockey Report. Yes, I know this. I'm wearing my ball hockey team from Big Rink that we made the finals, but we unfortunately lost. Yeah, that's yeah. We're called Dawn on Friends and whatnot. But I but I still really enjoyed that team and want to be back for next season. Probably will be. Anyways, we're gonna go over in this video. We're gonna go over my three losers, my three on the fence teams, and my three winners of the free agent frenzy. We're gonna first go over the three losers, and I'm gonna get an honorable mention to the Florida Panthers, just because they lost Claude Giroux, they lost Mason Marchment, so their depth took a bit of a hit. Now losing Ben Sherrod is not the biggest deal because I think Ben Sherrod's overrated, but no, Florida definitely takes a hit regarding depth. I don't think they'll suffer too much of a setback. But regardless, the depth is still weaker than it was last season. All right. So my number three, I know it's a bit of a shocker, but I'm going to say Colorado Avalanche. Now, they did resign Arturi Lehkonen. They did resign Josh Manson. And they did resign Valerie Nichushkin. My biggest issue with Colorado, though, is in net. They let Darcy Kemper walk. And it's like, well, are they seriously going with 32-year-old Pavel Francouz? Francouz is good, but he can't. He's come off of a pretty significant injury for one, and has never really been a starter. So I think Colorado definitely took a hit regarding goaltending there, which is why I have them where I have them. At number two, Vegas Golden Knights. I I thought Vegas was a win now team trying to compete, trying to contend. And as it is, they already traded away Yevgeny Dadonov to take on Shea Weber's contract for cap space. But the Max Pacioretty deal, I don't understand it. I thought this was a team that was trying to compete. They've already traded away a lot of prospects. I just thought this was a team that needed to win now. And I thought they were in win now mode. So that's why I give them the loss. And my number one for loser, Calgary Flames, obviously. I mean, you lose Johnny Gaudreau, um, uh, as as and you don't really replace him. I kind of wonder how Matthew Kachuk and Andre Mangiapane feel as they're both RFAs. And yeah, it just doesn't look very good for Calgary right now. Yep. And now for my three on the fence teams. At number one for my on the fence team, Winnipeg Jets. Um, as it is, Winnipeg, the off season's already not looking good with the whole rumors about locker room cancers and blah blah blah. They allowed Eric Comrie to walk. Yeah, they got David Riddick as a backup, but I don't know. I would have just liked to have seen them do something, even if it means like hopefully resigning Yevgeny Svechnikov, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen. I don't know. Didn't like the didn't like the inactivity there for the Jets. That's why I have them as on the fence. And number two for on the fence, Montreal Canadiens yet again. Now, mind you, they finally did trade Jeff Petrie recently, but I don't know. I, I would have just liked to have seen them try to free up some cap space, Montreal, but instead they did absolutely nothing during the free agency frenzy. And it's like, well, how much is Kirby Dach getting paid? I don't know. I have them as on the fence just cause I feel like this was an opportunity for them to free up cap space, and with them being inactive just leaves more questions than it does answers. And my number one for on the fence, Carolina Hurricanes. Now, this the reason why I have them on the fence is like you would think, well, they got Max Pacioretty and Brent Burns. Okay, yes, but they let Tony DeAngelo walk, who's a lot younger than Brent Burns. Um, They let Vinny Trocheck walk, so they take a bit of a hit at center. And it's like now after Sebastian Aho for centers, it's like who's your number two center? Is it Jordan Staal or is it Jesperi Kotkaniemi, who didn't play much center um, uh, last season and still needs to work on his skating. And then as it is now, for Kotkaniemi, he needs to take a stranglehold on that number two center spot because Ryan Suzuki's in the system, and Ryan Suzuki is a pretty highly touted prospect at center as well. So then there's that, and then while the trade for Max Pacioretty does add depth up front, I don't know. I would have just liked to have seen them, re-sign Vinny Trocheck until Kotkaniemi proves himself. And while Brent Burns can still play at 37, I don't know. Would have liked to have seen. I would have liked to have seen the younger Tony DeAngelo, and analysts actually said that DeAngelo actually, wasn't a problem in the locker room there. I don't know. It's looking more and more like Don Waddell making some funny moves like he did in the with the Atlanta Thrashers when they eventually ended up folding. All right, now is the time for my three winners of the free agency frenzy. At number 3, I'm gonna say the Seattle Kraken. I think I like their additions. I think they added depth. I like the Andre Burakovsky signing. The Justin Schultz signing could be underrated. The Marty Jones signing, we'll see. I feel like they needed to do something with their goaltending. So yep, yeah. I just Seattle, of course. Seattle's just taking the process slow, and I like their slow and steady wins the race process. So yeah. At number 2, I'm gonna say the Ottawa Senators. You know, um, although I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the Philip Gustafson them trading Philip Gustafson, Cam Talbot gives them a good current goaltender for now. I'm curious to see if Anton Forsberg is actually the goalie of the future for Ottawa. But for now, I think they are fine between the pipes, and I like the Claude Giroux signing. Claude Giroux signing. I think that's what makes them big winners and whatnot. And for number 1, Detroit Red Wings. I am a big fan of, well, with the exception of the Ben Sherratt move. That I didn't necessarily care for. But David Perron, Dominic Kubalik, Oli Mata adds depth, and an Andrew Kopp. Stevie Yzerman, he's done really well for his team, and sure enough, the free agent frenzy, he didn't disappoint. This video is mostly based on opinion and may have no implications on how these teams or players will do come next season. Remember, if I'm wrong, don't belittle me, educate me, because this is the Average Joe Hockey Report. Hockey opinions based on through the perspective of an average Joe. Take care, everyone, and follow my Instagram account, The Average Joe Hockey Report, and my YouTube channel, Marty Tommy, in parentheses, Average Joe Hockey Report.